Kawasaki Maintenance Mastery, Part 1 Engine and Electronics. Welcome to our deep dive into the legendary world of Kawasaki. These machines are built with the philosophy of let the good times roll. But as every seasoned rider knows, maintaining that performance requires more than just high-octane fuel and a heavy right hand. Kawasaki motorcycles, from the nimble Ninja 400 to the powerhouse ZH2, are precision-engineered instruments. When they are tuned perfectly, they are unstoppable, but when a small error creeps in, it can quickly escalate from a minor annoyance to a mechanical failure that keeps you off the road. Today, we are stripping away the mystery behind the most common technical hurdles faced by Team Green riders. We are going beyond the basic oil change to look at the hidden errors that often baffle even experienced owners. Before we get into the heavy mechanical sections, I want to share a few golden nuggets of Kawasaki ownership that we will explore in detail. First, we will look at why the Kawasaki Tick is often misunderstood. Second, we will discuss the critical importance of the K-TRC system calibration. And finally, a pro tip: always check your subthrottle valve actuators before assuming you have a fuel delivery problem. These are the small details that separate a casual owner from a true master of the machine. The heart of the beast, engine management and cold start issues. One of the most frequent complaints among Kawasaki owners involves inconsistent idling or difficult cold starts. While many immediately blame the battery or the fuel quality, the reality is often rooted in the idle air control or the throttle body synchronization. On modern fuel-injected Kawasaki's, the ECU manages a complex dance of air and fuel. An error often overlooked is the accumulation of carbon deposits on the butterfly valves. Even a microscopic layer of soot can disrupt the airflow at idle, leading to stalling at traffic lights or a hunting idle speed. The solution is a meticulous cleaning of the intake tract using dedicated sensor-safe cleaners. However, the real fix lies in the synchronization. Kawasaki engines, particularly the inline 4s, are sensitive to vacuum imbalances between cylinders. If one cylinder is pulling more air than the others, the engine fights itself, leading to vibrations that many riders mistake for a failing bearing. Using a digital vacuum gauge to balance the throttle bodies every 12,000 miles will transform your riding experience, making the power delivery as smooth as silk. Electrical integrity. The silent performance killer Kawasaki's electrical systems are generally robust, but they have a known sensitivity to grounding issues and regulator rectifier heat soak. If you notice your dashboard flickering or a slight hesitation in the higher RPM range, you might be facing a charging system error. Many riders make the mistake of simply replacing the battery, only to find it dead again 2 weeks later. The error here is failing to test the stator output. The solution starts with a multimeter. You must check the 3-phase AC output from the stator. If the voltage isn't consistent across all pins, your stator is burning out. To prevent this, ensure that your regulator rectifier is mounted in a location with adequate airflow. Some owners even relocate these units or install aftermarket heat sinks to ensure the electronics stay cool during spirited summer rides. Furthermore, always inspect the big 3 connections: the battery terminals, the starter solenoid, and the main frame ground. A tiny bit of corrosion here can create enough resistance to confuse the ECU, leading to phantom error codes that are notoriously difficult to diagnose. The Kawasaki Tick and valve train errors. Let's talk about the infamous Kawasaki Tick. Many new owners panic when they hear a rhythmic clicking sound coming from the top end of the engine. In many cases, this is not an error but the mechanical signature of the Kawasaki automatic chain tensioner. However, the mistake lies in ignoring it when the sound changes. If the tick becomes a clatter, your cam chain tensioner might be sticking. The solution for many enthusiasts is replacing the stock automatic unit with a manual tensioner. This allows for precise adjustment, ensuring the timing chain remains taut without putting excessive pressure on the guides. Additionally, never skip your valve clearance inspections. Kawasaki engines tend to tighten their valves over time. While a loose valve is noisy, a tight valve is silent and deadly for your engine, as it can lead to burnt valve seats and a massive loss of compression. Keeping these clearances within the manufacturer's spec is the single most important thing you can do for the longevity of your motor. Cooling system vulnerabilities. Another area where errors frequently occur is the cooling system. Kawasaki high-performance engines generate a staggering amount of heat. A common error is using standard automotive coolant or failing to properly bleed the system after a flush. If air becomes trapped in the cylinder head, it creates a hot spot that the temperature sensor might not even detect until it's too late. The solution is to always use a non-silicate, aluminum-compatible coolant and to follow the specific burping procedure outlined in the service manual, which often involves leaning the bike at specific angles to migrate air bubbles toward the radiator cap. Also, keep a close eye on the water pump we pull. A small drop of coolant here is a warning sign that the mechanical seal is failing. Replacing a seal is cheap. Replacing an engine that overheated on the highway is not. Kawasaki Maintenance Mastery, Part 2, Chassis, Braking, and Electronic Systems. Continuing our journey into the mechanical soul of Teen Green, we shift our focus from the internal combustion process to the components that keep that power under control. A Kawasaki is more than just a powerful engine. It is a complex interaction of geometry, friction, and electronic logic. When these elements fall out of alignment, the riding experience degrades from exhilarating to dangerous. In this second part, we explore the critical errors in chassis management and the braking systems that define the performance of models like the Ninja, the Z-Series, and the Versys. Precision braking. Beyond the surface, the braking system on a Kawasaki is designed for high-performance stopping power, but many riders fall into the trap of neglectful maintenance. A common error is ignoring the health of the brake fluid. Kawasaki uses high-performance systems that generate significant heat, especially during aggressive downshifting or track sessions. Over time, brake fluid absorbs moisture, which lowers its boiling point. The error here is waiting for the fluid to turn dark before changing it. By the time you see a color change, the internal seals and the ABS pump may already be compromised by internal corrosion. The solution is a full system flush every 2 years using a high-quality DOT4 or DOT 5.1 fluid, depending on your specific model's requirements. However, the real secret to Kawasaki braking performance lies in the caliper pistons. These pistons are exposed to road grime and brake dust. If they are not cleaned regularly, they can drag, causing excessive heat buildup and warped rotors. When you change your pads, don't just push the pistons back in. Clean them with a soft brush and brake cleaner first. This ensures that the retraction is smooth and that your lever feel remains firm and consistent, giving you the confidence to trail brake into any corner. Suspension and chassis alignment suspension is often the most neglected part of motorcycle maintenance. A frequent error among Kawasaki owners is riding with factory settings that were never adjusted for their specific weight or riding style. A bike that is too soft will wallow in corners, while one that is too stiff will lose traction on uneven pavement. Furthermore, many riders ignore the fork oil. Just like engine oil, fork oil shears down and loses its damping properties. If your front end feels divey, under braking, or harsh over small bumps, your oil is likely spent. The solution starts with setting your static and rider sag. This ensures the bike sits in the correct part of its travel. For the front forks, especially on high-mileage Ninjas or older Z models, a full service including new seals and fresh oil of the correct viscosity can make the bike feel brand new. Additionally, pay close attention to the steering head bearings. Kawasaki's often come from the factory with a minimal amount of grease in this area. If you feel a notch in the center of your steering, your bearings are notched and must be replaced. Proper lubrication and torque of these bearings are essential for that razor-sharp handling Kawasaki is famous for. The final drive, chain and sprocket errors the power of a Kawasaki is delivered to the ground through the final drive, and this is where many avoidable errors occur. The most common mistake is over-tightening the chain. A chain that is too tight puts immense pressure on the countershaft bearing and the rear wheel bearings. When the suspension compresses, the chain pulls even tighter, which can lead to a snapped chain or, worse, a cracked engine case. Conversely, a loose chain will slap against the swing arm and cause jerky throttle transitions. Per TEA gratis, per mi fa la differenza, iscriviti al canale. The solution is to always measure chain slack at the tightest point while the bike on its side stand, following the specific measurements located on the swing arm sticker. Don't just look at the chain. Inspect the sprockets for hooking or chipped teeth. A worn sprocket will destroy a new chain in a matter of hundreds of miles. Clean your chain with a dedicated cleaner that won't damage the O-rings and lubricate it while it is warm after a ride. This allows the lubricant to penetrate the rollers more effectively, ensuring a silent and efficient transfer of power. Advanced electronics and K-TRC logic modern Kawasaki's are packed with electronic rider aids like K-TRC traction control and KIBS intelligent braking. An error that is becoming more common is the failure to calibrate these systems after changing tire brands or sizes. These systems rely on wheel speed sensors to calculate slip. If the circumference of your new tire is slightly different from the original, the computer may intervene too early or too late, leading to a loss of performance or a safety risk. The solution is to perform a sensor check and, if your model allows, a system recalibration through the dashboard menu. Always keep the ABS tone rings clean. A small piece of debris or a bent tooth on the tone ring can send incorrect data to the ECU, causing the ABS light to flash and the system to disable itself. Electronics are only as good as the data they receive. By ensuring your sensors are clean and your tires are correctly inflated, you allow the Kawasaki's brain to work exactly as the engineers intended. The final pro tips, the master's checklist to wrap up this series. Let's look at the final pro tips that elevate your maintenance game. First, always use a torque wrench. Kawasaki aluminum castings are lightweight but can be fragile. Over-torquing a bolt can lead to expensive repairs. Second, pay attention to your fuel pump. If you hear a high-pitched whine from the tank, your fuel filter is likely clogging. Cleaning or replacing this filter early can prevent a fuel pump failure on the road. Finally, keep a detailed logbook of every adjustment and service. Knowing exactly when you last greased the suspension linkage or checked the valve clearances allows you to stay ahead of the wear curve. A well-maintained Kawasaki is not just a machine, it is a legacy of engineering excellence. Treat it with the respect it deserves, and it will reward you with thousands of miles of pure, unadulterated speed.